So today we're doing a full body mobility routine, and I would say that this is geared toward beginners, but of course anybody can do this workout with me. But if you are new to mobility training or new to fitness, this should be a friendly workout for you. So you don't need any equipment, just your mat and some space. We're going to stay right down here. We're not standing up or doing anything else. So just grab your water, get your space cleared out, and then we'll get started. So the first exercise is a hip swivel. So all you're going to do is bring your legs out in front of you and turn them so they're off to the side. So both knees are pointing in the same direction, feet are going the opposite way. If you're having trouble, you can always lean yourself back. So you can put your hands on the floor behind you for support, which gives a little more space between your legs and your body. It makes it a little bit easier that way. So when you're moving through the hip swivel, you don't have to use your core as much. You can really focus in on what the hips are doing. If you were to sit up taller, then you really need to engage that core more in order to keep yourself upright as you move your legs side to side. So you can start with your hands behind you, and then if that gets too easy, you can sit up tall, or vice versa. You can sit up tall and then lean back if it gets to be too hard, or just switch. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to start right here, legs out to the side, and I just want to think about lifting up one knee as high as I can without lifting up this other leg. Okay, so I'm lifting, lifting, lifting. And then it gets to a point where I can't go that way anymore. I have to bring this leg along for the ride. And then everything swivels to the other side. And then I will go the opposite direction. So lifting up my leg as high as I can until this one just has to come off the ground. And then place everything back down. So try to make sure that you get everything back down fully on the floor, like you're not just part of the way. You come all the way down, bring that inside leg, knee right to the ground. Okay, let's do that again. So we're going to lift up one leg, bring it around, and then when this other leg is forced to move, that's when you do the full swivel. And you're trying to go nice and slow and controlled. Again, inside leg, bring that knee right to the floor. Now there's a few things you can think about in terms of form to really make it work for you and make it a little bit harder. So without actually sitting up yet, I want you to think about driving your heels into the floor. So as you move that leg, your heels are what is pushing you into the floor. So we have to think about keeping this leg down. Lift this leg up, using my heel for leverage, pushing it into the ground, and then this leg has to come with it and all the way around. So knee comes up, push your heel into the mat or the floor, open as wide as you can until you can't go any further, and then this other leg follows and bring it right down. Now let's just try to do a few reps with the inside leg. So we're going to lift up this inside leg until you get to the point where you want to move this leg, but you're not going to. We're going to go as far as we can, and then we're going to bring it down. Right to the ground, and then open again. As far as you can, and then bring it down. Let's do that a few more times. Right to the floor with the knee, opening up. Don't let this leg come up. Two more. Lift. And all the way down. Last one. Push that heel into the ground. And then all the way down. Let's swivel slowly and do that same thing on the other side. Okay, so we're going to push this heel into the floor. We're going to lift this inside leg up as high as it can go until this knee wants to come up, but we don't let it. We just bring it right to the top and then bring it back down. We're going to do 5 reps. Right to the top, bring it back down. 3 more. Push that heel into the floor 3, 4, one more, and 5, and then all the way down. Good work, guys. And then just bring your knees up to the front like you're just sitting normally. If you were to do that with your body upright, you can do that too. Again, it takes a little more core work. So you lift, lift, lift until you get to the fullest range of motion through the hips and into that straddle position, and then bring it down. Okay, so maybe on the second round, you can try sitting yourself up tall if you want to try that. Okay, so that's the first exercise. Second exercise is for your back and for your core. So it's just going to be a cat-cow, but we're going to go really slow, and we're going to think about initiating the movement with our bottom, with our tailbone, every time, okay? So hands, fingers nice and wide, right underneath your shoulders. You have your arms locked. You're pushing up through the floor. You have a neutral spine to start. So we're not starting here or here, but that's where we're going to end up as we move. So if I think about initiating with my tailbone, okay, not the whole back, just the tailbone. So you're sort of tucking your tail and then bringing your hips up. Let's do a cat first. So we're aiming for this position, but we want to start with the tail. So you're going to tuck your tail under and then let that movement come right up through your back, opening up through the shoulder blades, pressing through the floor. So now you have this nice strong arch cat stretch. And then from here, we're going to reverse it. So again, starting with that tailbone, think about moving from the hips. We're going to bring the tailbone up, tip the hips, and then let that movement pull your belly right down to the floor. Shoulders come back. And now we're in our cow position. So a big sway back. Belly is coming down to the floor as much as you can. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, so starting with the hips, with that tailbone slowly tucking under, trying not to move your upper body yet. Tuck it under until the whole back gets involved and you round and push up, big arch, and pressing through the floor to make your scared cat position. And then reverse, starting with the tailbone, bring your hips up. So tailbone coming up toward the ceiling, which slowly brings your belly button down, slowly brings those shoulders back. And now we have cow position. So one more time through both positions. So tuck your tail, moving through the hips. Slowly becomes an arch. Now you're really pressing through the floor. Arch your back. As if somebody has a string in the middle of your back and they're pulling you up to the ceiling. And then reverse, starting with the tailbone. Lift your hips. Tailbone comes up. And that comes right down through the body. Belly comes down to the floor. Shoulders come back. And then slowly, starting with the tailbone again, just bring it back to a neutral position. So that is your cat-cow. And you'll notice that just like doing our hip swivels, we're trying to isolate one part of the movement. So you get to know your body a little bit more. You feel you can move your hips without moving your upper body, and then vice versa. Just trying to do those things will help you to just move better in general. So that's kind of the theme today. That's what we're doing. The last exercise, I'm going to do it a bit on an angle so you can see the back of me a little bit, or see how my arms and my shoulders are moving. But it's called a kneeling swimmer. So what you're going to do for this one is you're going to start with your hands behind your head. And I'm going to start very simply with this one. I'm going to show you the general movement, and then we're going to think about the details of it, how to really get everything out of this. But first, I'm just going to show you the basic movement. So hands behind your head. Body is nice and tall. Your ribs, you're not trying to flare your ribs. You're trying to keep your core engaged, your ribs down the whole time. So you're trying to keep everything here nice and controlled, but you're just moving through the shoulders as much as you can. So hands at the side of your head. You're going to extend them out to the side. You're going to flip your hands around so your palms are almost facing up at the back. And then you're going to bring your hands just above your tailbone at the back. Okay, so you would be just about here. Your hands aren't resting on your body, they're away from your body, and then you would bring them down. So the idea is to start with your hands on your body, move them away from your body, move through the movement, spin it around, still away from my body, and then down to the back of my head. Pulling away, open, twist, behind me, and set them down on my tailbone, or just above my tailbone, on the low back, and the small of your back. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to go nice and slow. So hands start on your head. You're going to pull your hands away from your head as best you can. Then you're going to open up like you're making a Y. Twist through the shoulders, so now your palms are facing up as much as possible. And then you're going to pull those arms back without flaring your ribs. Pull the arms back until they come together, your hands, and then place your hands palm up in the small of your back. Okay, so it's a lot to think about, but if we go slow, you'll get the hang of it. So we're going to start from here. We're going to lift our hands away from our body without arching our back. We want to keep the core engaged. Like somebody's going to go like this, and you don't want it to hurt. So you want to keep everything here tight, while at the same time trying to lift those hands off of your lower back. Then reach out, palms facing up, twist, reach out as much as you can, and then bring those hands together, just touching my fingers, but I don't have my hands on my head yet. And then I place my hands on my head. Let's do that one more time. So hands start on your head, so you're sort of in a prisoner position. Lift off, reach out, twist, so your palms are facing up but backwards. Reach back behind you until your hands come together, still off your body. Place them down on the small of your back. Reach out, extend as far away as you can, twist, hands come together, and then place them on the back of your head, and then arms come down. So if you're doing that, you're going to feel that in your shoulders. Okay, so for this exercise in particular, you're really trying to think about just working through the arms and not letting your core or the middle part of your body do anything to compensate for that. So that's what you're trying to keep this part still while moving your arms around your head and down to your back. Okay, so that is called a kneeling swimmer. But we're going to go through this 2 more times, and we're going to go a little bit faster now that you know what the exercises are. So hip swivel, you can take your legs out to the side in a 90-90, or you can bring them closer. It's a little harder if your feet come in closer to your body. Harder for different reasons. It just depends on your preference, depending on your hip mobility, knee mobility, all that kind of stuff. So decide where you want to start, whether you want to sit up tall or whether you want to bring your arms behind you. That's up to you. I'm going to sit up tall for this one. So we're going to do full hip swivels. Let's do 4, 2 to each direction, and then we'll isolate and just do one leg, okay? So starting, thinking about opening up as far as you can, this knee, keep this one down until you can't anymore, and then it just comes along for the ride. And again, we want to bring that leg right to the floor every time you switch sides. So here we go. We're going to lift that leg. Knee comes up, knee comes up. And I can't stay put anymore. And then I'm going to slowly bring it down to the other side. Think about pressing those heels into the floor. Opening, opening, opening. And then swivel. Sometimes when I'm doing this, lifting, I like to put my finger on this leg that I don't want to move, just to remind myself that I don't want to move it until I absolutely have to. And then I bring it around. Okay, now let's isolate the inside leg coming up 5 reps. So I'm going to put my finger on this one that I don't want to move, and I'm going to lift as high as I can. Pause at the top, bring it back down. Knee right to the floor. That's 1. Driving my heel into the floor, the mat, and 2. Lift. 3. Lift, keep this leg down. You can feel it trying to come up. 4. Last one. Lift, lift, lift. And 5. And then swiveling to the other side. Lift it. Onto the other side. And this is the knee that's going to be coming up and down. So lifting. This one's harder for me. I feel I have less mobility in my left hip. Pause at the top just for a split second. 2. Lift. 3. 4. Last one. Lift it up. And 5. Good work. And then bring those legs back to the center and getting into our cat-cow position. So 5, we're going to do 5 cat-cows full. Remember, hands, fingers nice and wide, hands under your shoulders, pressing up, elbows are locked, and we're going to start with the neutral spine and then initiate with the tailbone, and we'll go into the cat first. So you want to think about bringing that tailbone down, tuck your hips under, and let it transfer through the whole movement until you are pushing up through the floor, arching your back. And then reverse, lift your tailbone, hips coming up, and then slowly, belly comes down, shoulders come back. Try not to move your head, so just keep your neck in neutral, but really exaggerate that swayed back. Cow position, now reverse. Tuck the tailbone. Really think about trying to isolate that movement. And nice strong cat. And then reverse. Tailbone comes up. Belly comes down. Shoulders come back a little bit. And then tuck the tailbone. Arch your back. Push into the floor. And then tailbone comes up. Belly comes down. Press into the mat. And then just bring it to a neutral position from here. We'll just do 3 reps. And relax. Okay, sitting back onto your feet in that kneeling position, we're going to do our swimmer. So arms come behind your head, or hands come behind your head. Place your hands on your head to start, but remember, we're trying to bring everything away from the body. So there's a deliberate lift off at the top and a lift off at the bottom. You want to get both of those things, okay? So starting in this prisoner position, lift your hands off your body, reach out as far as you can, twist so you can try to get those palms facing up at the back, Still reaching around until your hands come together right above your lower back, and then set everything down. Trying not to open up through the rib cage, trying to keep this neutral, ribs knitted in, as Tess would say. Okay, so we're going to lift the hands off, reach out, reach, twist, reach away from the body, and then bring those hands together and place them down on your head. Let's do 2 more. So lift off, reach out, twist, reach back, hands come together, and place them on your lower back. Lift off, reach out, twist, hands come together, place them on your head. One more time. Lift off, reach out and away, twist, hands come together behind you, and place them on your back. And last time, coming back, lift off, reach out, twist, hands come together, and place them on your head. And then arms coming down. Just roll your shoulders a little bit. Feel that really working. I feel those shoulders really, really working. Okay, you might even want to just bring your head down, chin to your chest a little bit. All of this, just sort of reverse that. Okay, so let's go through those exercises just one more time. We'll go a little bit quicker this time. So I'm going to sit up again, heels digging into the floor, getting into my 90-90 position, or if you want to do the hip swivel, whatever, or the shin box, more of a shin box position, that's up to you. And then lifting, keep this knee down, coming around, knee to the floor. Go the other way, lift, opening up through the hips, switch, lift, knee to the floor. One more time, just one more time, coming back. Lift. And then let's do 10. Instead of doing more full hip swivels, we're going to do 10 of these isolations, okay? So on each side. So we're going to lift 1 and down. 2, pause at the top and down. 3, 4, and 5. This is a little bit tough. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. All the way down, and then swiveling to the other side. I know I said this is a beginner mobility, so consider this last little bit for the hips a challenge. It's not that easy. Drive your heel into the floor, lift 1. If 10 is too much, cut it back, do what you can. 2, keep this knee down. 3, 4. Remember to get that pause at the top. And 5. You can stop there if you need to. 6, or you can keep going. 7, 8, last 2. 9, and 10. Knee comes down, and then bring it back to neutral, or to the center. All right, cat-cow. Let's go for 3 full reps there and back. So starting in a neutral position, tuck the tail under first, all the way up into that cat, pushing through the mat, and then reverse tailbone comes up, belly comes down. Exaggerate that position, hold it for a split second, and then reverse, tailbone tucks under, and arch your back. Really think about pressing the floor away. Hold it at the top, and then reverse. Try to keep that upper body still until it absolutely has to move. And then one more time through. Tuck the tail all the way up into that cat. Push away the floor. And then tailbone comes up. Belly comes down. Shoulders come back. Hold it at the bottom. And then back to under neutral spine. Good work. Okay, so let's finish with our last exercise, kneeling swimmer. So you're going to start with your hands behind your head. Make sure you get that lift off. So lift the hands off, extend the arms out, twist the arms so that your hands are facing up at the back, and then bring the hands together and then place them on your back. That lift off, extend out, twist, reach up and back, hands together, and then place them on the back of your head. Make sure you're not opening up through the ribs too much. Keep everything tight through your core. Lift your hands off, extend, twist, come around and down, and then place them down. Again, lift off, reach out, twist, together and on the back of your head. One more time. Lift, reach out, twist, come together and down. And last time, lift off, reach out, twist, hands together behind your head, and then place them on your head. And then arms come down. And let's just do some slow shoulder rolls to finish off. So this little routine, you can use it as a break from work. If you're sitting at your desk or watching TV or just standing for too long, you could do each one of these exercises a few times and just leave it at that. Or you could incorporate it into your workout. It's a nice warm-up to any kind of work that's harder, or you're lifting heavier weights, if you're doing kettlebell work, more difficult body weight stuff, barbell work, anything like that. Maybe do like this, 3 sets, some reps for each one, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can check out our other playlists. We've got lots of other mobility follow along workouts for beginners and people who are more advanced. We have lots of strength workouts. We have some tips and all that kind of stuff. If you like the video, give it a like. If you're not following us, make sure you do that, and see you next time.